It was a lovely weekend on Long Island here in New York. There was some pinball played. I did a lot of talking in a very loud room. My voice is thrashed. There's business to attend to. This is episode 81 of Coast to Coast Pinball. Let's go. Welcome to Coast to Coast Pinball. My name is Nate Shivers. This is a podcast, a commentary. I'm a man out of quarters. How's everybody doing? It is Sunday night, April 27th. My voice is going. I did the, how can I put this? I was at the New York Guitar Expo this weekend on Long Island with my company, Taylor Guitars. And picture, like a pinball show that you've been to, except with a bunch of electric and acoustic guitars at very loud volume, and me trying to talk over it the whole weekend. It was tough, but it was a good show. It was fun. I'm staying in the hotel near JFK Airport that I stay at oftentimes. I have witnessed now my second car accident out the front window. About 3 months ago I was here, and I looked out the window, and just by happen chance, I saw an accident. Car came down off the exit lane, not exit lane, but through one of the turn lanes at this four-way traffic light, and a car came through, and they hit each other. I watched the same exact thing happen tonight. I couldn't believe it. So, very dangerous intersection here. So, what's happening? On Thursday night, I was done with work by about 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I headed down into Brooklyn to the Sunshine Laundromat.
Trip reports.
I've done trip reports many times on the Sunshine Laundromat. It is one of my favorite places in the country to play pinball. It's off the beaten path. It's not really easy to get to. It's in a kind of unassuming neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York. It is a laundromat. It is a small door next to a coffee shop on Manhattan Avenue in Brooklyn. And you go in, and you're greeted by Attack from Mars, like right in your face. And then a bunch of washing machines. And it's literally part pinball arcade, part laundromat. And it's cool. The games are all set on 50-cent play, which is awesome. And they have a ton of A-list titles. I think I've done this before, but currently they have a bunch of top 100 games. They have, like I said, Attack from Mars. They have Twilight Zone, Monster Bash. They have Addams Family, Theater of Magic, Indiana Jones Pinball Adventure, Scared Stiff, Star Trek The Next Generation, Circus Voltaire, Whitewater. Those are all top 20 games. Pretty amazing. So I have had the opportunity to go there quite a bit now. I can usually go there monthly when I have some time in the evening. And it's just a great place. The games are all, by the way, in fantastic condition, kept up very well. This time I went in sort of on a mission to only play a few games. Oftentimes I will scatter myself between lots of the games because I just love all the games. So this time I went in and I really only played 3 games. I mean, I might have jumped on a couple others once or twice, but I really only played 3 games. And I focused mainly on games I was just trying to feel out because maybe I'm shopping for a game. ... So the 3 games that I played the most were the Star Trek, because they have a limited edition. Played that a bunch. Great game. I played a bunch of Monster Bash. You don't see that many Monster Bashes out in the world still. And I played a lot of Circus Voltaire. I'm sort of on a John Papaduke kick lately. And I gotta tell you, if you told me to just choose one of those 3 games, I would have a tough time choosing. Now, obviously, if we're talking Star Trek Limited Edition, that makes it difficult. Circus Voltaire, amazing game that I think gets some undeserved sort of criticism from some people. I don't know if it's the theme or whatnot, but clearly me and the Ringmaster are pretty close. We're tight. But I would say if I had to just pick, and money wasn't an option, because money's always an option, right? But if I had to just choose one of those 3 games, I choose Monster Bash. There's something about Monster Bash that just makes me so happy. And I'm not really good at that game. And somebody pointed out to me that I say this all the time, that I'm not very good at these games. So newsflash to everyone, yours truly is not the greatest pinball player in the world. But I love it. So this time playing Monster Bash, I had my record game. I hit 100 million on Monster Bash for the first time, I actually got to the Monster Bash with all the different characters completed and lit and playing, and it was awesome. It was so fun, and there were people actually watching me play because I had so much going on, and I kept getting extra balls, and the knocker in the cabinet was going off, and it was just like the best game. I was really feeling it. So I had a blast at the Sunshine Laundromat. If you're in New York City and you can get away for a few hours over into Brooklyn, there's a subway not far. So if you're taking trains, I think you can get there really easily. I'm always driving, so I just park in the neighborhood. And I think I must have gotten there after 7, because parking's free after 7, and I did not pay to park. So that must have been later than I thought it was. The sun's staying out later, finally. The days are getting longer, so more daylight. So I'm really, this trip report is all for me to tell you stuff you already know. Circus Voltaire is a pretty great game with some really interesting rules and layout. It's awesome. I love it. I would like to own that game. Star Trek is a fantastic game. The limited edition premiums are really great. I like all the extra stuff on the playfield. I don't know that it's worth all the money, but I do like it. It's a great game. It plays so fast. I mean, man, the ball you've played it, right? If you're listening to this, if you played Star Trek, the ball between the slingshots just flies all over the place. It's awesome. I like it a lot. And Monster Bash is just, I'm going to say this. For a long time, I would tell people Twilight Zone's like my favorite game. I own it. I would always kind of have the argument between Attack from Mars and Medieval Madness for of the Williams stuff, like what was my next favorite game. It's actually Monster Bash. It just is. I like it better. Maybe it's partly because I'm a musician, or used to be a musician, but I work in the musical instrument field, so that the themes plays into it. I'm such a fan. I love it. So that's really all this trip report was about. No breaking news. Go there. They have a No Good Gophers there. They have a fun house. Just fantastic. And it's cheap. It's 50 cents a game. It's awesome. So I don't even know who owns it. I should meet these people that own this, because they obviously really care about pinball. So it's awesome. Anyway, that's my piece on the Sunshine Laundromat in Brooklyn.
Forum static.
Forum static, coming off the heels of crazy forum static mania, or whatever the hell I called that. So forum static. We actually have some things I curated out of the Pinside Pinball forums, which are the most active pinball forums on the most active pinball website in the world. First up, I'm going to give a brief shout out to the Pinball at the Zoo, which took place in Kalamazoo, Michigan. So that happened over the weekend. There's a thread on Pinside called Update from the PATZ, from the PATS, Pinball at the Zoo. And it's kind of funny because one of the first people who posted in there, I guess, went Thursday night. I guess the show actually runs Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And somebody went Thursday night and was sort of disappointed and said there wasn't as many games as they thought there'd be, and it was kind of a bummer. And that set off, the fighting of, hey man, what'd you expect? It's Thursday, and more games came. Sounds like reading about Pinball at the Zoo that by the weekend, by the time, the meat of the show got going, there's plenty of games, over 80 pinball machines. People seem to have a lot of fun. It's $12 to play all these games. Bunch of A-list titles. I was going through the thread. I note a Cyclops was in attendance. Cyclops may have one of the scariest back classes ever. Just frightening looking. Pinball at the Zoo is more of a regional, smaller show. Doesn't seem to get the attendance from the boutique builders or a lot of the big vendors. There were some vendors there, but a lot were not. I wanted to run through here the Pinball at the Zoo Best of Show of 2014. They have 5 games chosen Best of Show, and first one was a Getaway High Speed. And I don't know who's, Rodney Minch is Best of the 90s, Getaway High Speed 2. Really fabulous example of the classic, sequel to High Speed, Steve Ritchie game. So that looks very cool. Game that I've played it a few times, not super familiar with that game. I don't really have a big draw to that theme in that game. I mean, here's the sort of the dirty little secret I have with the games that I like. I respect the heck out of Steve Ritchie. He's one of my favorite pinball personalities. I wouldn't say that his games are my favorite games. I like his later games the best. I like AC/DC. I like Star Trek. Black Knight's cool. Black Knight 2000's okay. Not my favorite games. High Speed, I respect it more for the innovations and the change. Still a fun game. I play it when I see it on location places. And it's definitely, I think, an older game that has stood the test of time. But those aren't like my favorites. Those aren't one that, as much as I might like to play a lot of those earlier Steve Ritchie games, they often don't hold spots like sentimentally to me for whatever reason. I don't know. Just not hating. Love you, Steve. All that good stuff. Next of the best in show list is the Best EM, the Electromechanical. And this is Todd and Annette Sandy have a Hocus Pocus, a Bally Hocus Pocus 2-player game that just, the back glass looks in such fantastic shape. Really cool looking game. Looks like it's probably been partially restored. Very cool seeing a happy, I'm assuming, married couple winning Best in Show there for the EMs. It's funny. So I have that EM of mine. I have Skylab, and I've been playing some other EMs lately, and I'm now in a like a fight in my head wanting to sell Skylab to find an EM with a bunch of drop targets. So that's like what I want right now. I want an EM with a bunch of drop targets. So just a little side note. Next up from Pinball at the Zoo, Best of the Show is Best of the 1970s, and this is a game I have never played. Is Mike Iovaldi's, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correct, Nitro Ground Shaker. It's Bally game. It's sort of a like a speed derby game, or something like that. Car, like a crash test or a crash. What do they call them? You know what I'm talking about? A crash derby. What?
Demolition Derby.
Demolition Derby. There we go. Thank you. I appreciate that. That help there. Never seen the game in person. Never played it. Super colorful. The back glass, I can see why it would catch people's eye. The back glass looks really pretty. The layout of the playfield, it looks pretty interesting. This game must be in fantastic shape. So, kudos to you, Mike, for your win there. Moving on here. Best of the 1980s. Not a game I would think of when I'm thinking of like best of the 80s, but this example of Pharaoh must have been really fantastic. Another game I've not played very much. Kind of has like the two horses on the back glass with like the dude. I guess he's the Pharaoh with the lady. This is James Doden. Doden won that, so congratulations to James. And then finally, I'm guessing this is best of the DMDs, best modern game, is Dave Doney, or Donnie, with the Pirates of the Caribbean. And actually, this game is just really cool. You can tell there's some lighting changes in there. He has, it looks like a custom speaker surround. And this game gets actually brought up in the thread on Pinball at the Zoo about what a fantastic condition game Pirates of the Caribbean this was. So, congratulations to the folks that put on Pinball at the Zoo. Sounds like you had a good show. It's good to see these shows, still doing well. There's some discussion in that thread, kind of like, well, what do you expect out of the show and this and that. I think that a Thursday night start time is really tough and probably not the best idea for our hobby. Our hobby, we're working men. We have jobs, most of us. We can't just take off on Thursdays and do things like that. So you're going to have a tough time until late at night Thursday. And if we're doing late night pinball Thursday, we might not go to work on Friday. I think that the model of the Friday night load in, maybe the unofficial opening, the soft launch party on a Friday night is a great way to do it. And then with just a full on Saturday, Sunday schedule, I think that's really my favorite layout of the shows. Just in my opinion. Moving on in forum static, we have final art for America's Most Haunted. This has been going on for a little bit now. This is an older thread posted by this crazy person that we all know and love, Ben Heckendorf. This has actually been out for about 3 months, but it's been getting updated continually. And as of tonight, Ben actually posted a video from YouTube with him and some folks playing America's Most Haunted at the local bar there where Charlie lives in Benton, Wisconsin. So they have one out on location. And it's like a 7-minute video with a ton of gameplay. It's pretty cool. You get to see a lot of different DMD animations. You get to see a lot of the different shots. It's better than the video on the Coast2Coast Pinball page, because at the Midwest Gaming Classic, where I did a video the right scoop was like brutally set up so that oftentimes the right scoop was just shooting it straight down the middle. The game on this location is not doing that like it should not be. You can see the lighting really well in this because it's sort of filmed in a dark room, so you can see everything lit up. So keep tabs on that. I know a lot of people are following the Spooky Pinball folks and the fact that they are now actually shipping games. They've posted photos of games on a truck leaving Wisconsin. So in the race to be the first of the true boutique manufacturers to ship games, Spooky kind of wins. There's Predator's coming. I think John Papaduke will have games coming. There's others. There's others in other countries that we should talk about more on the show. But it looks like Spooky's kind of the one to sort of just make it happen and get it done. And America's Most Haunted is now shipping. And when we originally talked to Ben on this show, and he brought up the idea that they were really committing to 100 production games, and then I think Charlie reiterated that in the interview I did with him at the Midwest Gaming Classic. In my head, I'm looking at that game, playing it, thinking, you're out of your minds. 100 is not enough. You can sell more than 100 of these games. It's below $6,000. It's a fully fleshed out game. It's legit. This isn't some like pieced together thing that doesn't feel like a real game. It feels like a game. It has toys. It has all sorts of stuff going on. The rule set's deep. Ben, follow this post. Ben actually basically jumps into the thread and says, hey, I want to do a video mode, but I don't know what we should do. Somebody comes up with the idea to copy Flappy Bird, the little, smartphone game that was all the rage for a while, and do Flippy Ghost. Because get it, Flippy, Flippers. See what they did there? Flippy. Get it? Yeah, okay. So anyway, and he does it. He's just done it. He's going to have a video probably tomorrow of Flippy Ghost is now the video mode in America's Most Haunted. I do not underestimate what Ben and Charlie have done here with America's Most Haunted. It's pretty awesome that they're shipping games now. So check that thread out. I need to go to coast2coastpinball.com right now because I put up a poll the other day on the front page of www.coast2coastpinball.com that said, what game is Nate buying? Because I think I've announced that I am buying a game. I have money burning a hole in my pocket, and I am out buying a game. And I put a bunch of options, and last time I looked, the game that more people thought that I was buying than any other was actually America's Most Haunted, funny enough. So let me look, and right now, as of 12:37 a.m. on April 28th now, East Coast time, it's tied. 33.33% of the people who voted think I'm buying America's Most Haunted, and 33.33% of the people who voted think I'm buying Metallica. And then number 3 is actually Doctor Who, a game that I've been talking about wanting to buy since the very beginning of the show. And nobody's voted yet for me being on the Hobbit pre-order or Monster Bash. Interesting. So, but anyway, so check out that post, that on-running final art for America's Most Haunted. Ben is active in the thread, and you can see where they're at exactly with the game. That's good stuff. All right, a little last bit of forum static here. Excuse me. So this one's one I was trying to stay out of, and I thought to myself, I'm going to stay out of that. Well, I'm not staying out of that. So the thread is entitled, has anyone else not received their Wizard of Oz LE that prepaid years ago? And obviously, anytime we start talking Jersey Jack and pre-order and waiting and time frames, we get some pretty high emotions, we will say. So Chad Keller from St. Charles, Missouri posted, just curious, as I am starting to feel completely screwed. I bought 4 machines through a distributor, and a JJP has been giving us the runaround, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't need to read the whole post. I think you can all figure out where this goes. He hasn't gotten his game. He bought through a distributor. Did the distributor pay Jack early as soon as he paid the distributor? That's the question. Throughout the thread, people start, throwing insults around. I think there were some ban warnings issued. We did find out, though, in this thread that a game that was ordered and paid for on 6/11 of 2011. Okay, so June 11th, 2011. That is almost 3 years ago. That's 2 months shy of, a month and a half shy of 3 years ago, was delivered Monday. So that's kind of where we're at. The problem that the poster here is having is that he didn't call Jersey Jack and pay for a game directly. He bought through a distributor. So let's say, if I don't remember what date that game went on sale, but let's say we have a whole new game. And you have him. Here's the weirdness with Jersey Jack, and for that matter with some other companies. Planetary Pinball, looking at you. So if we have a game, I have a product. Let's say Coast2Coast Pinball is going to build a pinball game, which I can promise you we will never do. I will never do that. But let's say we're going to. Coast2Coast Pinball has decided that we're going to build a He-Man pinball machine. Because I think that would be a great theme, myself, personally. So we're going to build He-Man. And I'm going to take orders directly. You can buy it from me. And we're going to do the pre-order model where you send me money, you're going to send me $7,000, and I'm going to use that money to build my company and finance the game and buy the parts and do the R&D and everything with the money that you prepay me on good faith because, I have a podcast, so clearly I will be able to build a great pinball machine, right? Fully refundable. I'll send your money back, but I'm going to bank on the fact that not many people want their money back. So let's say listener, I don't know, let's say Joe Zenkus sends me $7,000 today, or maybe the deposit on it today. And let's say I decide that I'm going to let some distributors sell the games so that I have some more people helping me sell these things. Maybe it's due to location. Maybe I want a West Coast distributor, somebody on the West Coast distributing them. Maybe I want somebody in the Southeast, etc. Maybe I want to try and sell distributors prepaid games so that they just buy games from me and then they can sell them. Because, pinball companies might want to have games to sell. So let's say listener Chad. Let's say Chad goes to my distributor in Florida. Because I have a Florida distributor. Florida Pinball, Super Pinball Guys. So Chad goes to Florida Pinball, Super Pinball Guys and says, hey, are you going to be able to, get a hold of He-Man Pinball? And they say, yeah, absolutely, $7,000. And he goes, great, here's my $7,000. In a perfect world, Florida Pinball, Super Pinball Guys pays me and sends me that order right then. In the real world, Florida Pinball, Super Pinball Guys owes Stern money for all the Mustang pinballs that they're trying to get, or owes their electric company the electric bill, or has a cocaine problem because they're in Florida. I'm kidding, sort of. So maybe they don't pay Coast2Coast Pinball right away for He-Man Pinball. Maybe they wait 30 days till they have 4 orders. And then they call me and they say, hey, I got an order for 4 pieces. Here's my deposit. So then I put them on the list. Well, in that time frame, a bunch of other people called me and paid me direct. So you think you ordered it on day 1 when really you ordered it on day 30 and you're not where you thought you were in line. And that is probably what's happened to some people who bought through distributors. Planetary Pinball Supply has that same sort of thing going on, albeit they sold all those Medieval Madness remakes right away. But how do you order that? Who knows when the distributors called their orders in? It's really, that's sort of the tricky thing. Stern doesn't sell direct, so they avoid a lot of that hassle. My industry, we don't sell direct. We go through distributors. It creates a buffer layer between manufacturer and consumer. That's a good thing on a lot of levels. Let me tell you where it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing because if I do that, I give away profit because the distributor has to make money too for putting out money, for laying it out. It's created some issues for sure. Jersey Jack seems to be getting games in. There's a lot of talk about this, finance deal that came through where an influx of money, an investor came in and put money in the company, saying that fell away, that didn't happen, only part of it came. That may be. What I do know from reading what Jack has posted, hearing what Jack has said, they're full speed ahead. Their top speed may not be as fast as we all would like it to be. Those of us with money in it, which may or may not be me, because I might be on the Hobbit pre-order list. It's one of my options on my poll. It might not be happening as fast, and there's a lot of moving parts with a startup like that. I think they're going to be fine. As of right now, they're building games. Everything's going to happen. I don't see the plug getting pulled because the investor's not there. If they're not there, I don't even know for sure what the whole story is with that. But it's definitely been an interesting time as a bunch of Wizard of Oz's have shipped. People have them. They're on location. I could go buy one right now from a distributor. We had the cabinet switch from, the direct print clear coated cabinets to the decal cabinets, causing some people to kind of be like upset that they got a decal cabinet or not want a decal cabinet. But it's interesting. Some of these people waited 3 years, and me, who was never waiting a day, could go buy one of these games from a distributor who has one right now for sale. And that has got to be frustrating. So I feel your pain, and that's where we are with The Wizard of Oz.
Welcome to the D-List.
Oh, you've been waiting. You've been wanting it. I've read your emails. You want this D-List to get bigger, and it does tonight. So, welcome to the D-List. The 1986 John Trudeau Gottlieb Genesis. So, Genesis. John Trudeau designed a lot of games for Premier Gottlieb in the 80s. A lot. He was the designer. It was all him. And, I mean, the guy deserves a lot of credit. And I think, personally... Okay, so let's just talk about the D-List, first of all. The D-List is not games that are, like, bad, or games that are junky, or I don't know, somehow flawed necessarily. Some of them obviously are. The D-List is games that are just not very popular, or just not very well known, or have some other thing about them that, to me, puts them sort of on the bottom quarter of games as I rank them throughout history. This is my opinion. My commentary, folks. So, Genesis. I like the game. I will tell you right now, I think it's one of my favorite mid-80s Gottlieb games. Now, that's not saying a whole lot, I know. And there's other games from that era that have gotten a lot of play lately. TX Sector is one, because there's a lot going on in it. Okay, so here's Genesis. There's two big glaring things about Genesis that I think probably has relegated it to sort of obscurity for a lot of years. The two giant purple ramps. You can't miss them. They're crazy looking. They're a weird, super, like, I don't even know what, it's like purple. It's just like a light purple color, two ramps, one on each side. They look like a kid's toy, sort of, ramp. And then there's the translite. And we'll get back to the translite. But let's talk about Genesis a little bit. So, this is a game made in 1986, right about the same time as Bally's Strange Science. Funny how that is, right? Because the theme for Genesis is not about a Phil Collins fronted, band with Tony Rutherford and Michael Banks. I don't even remember who the other guy in Genesis was. That's not what we're talking about here. Different. This is not a ode to a Sega 16-bit video game home console system. This is a mad scientist theme. This is building a creepy robot, basically. This is sort of like I've seen it read and described as a poor man's Bride of Pinbot. Because when you look at the playfield for Genesis, obviously you see the two big ugly purple ramps. And I say ugly with love, I really do. They remind me of Grimace, the McDonald's character from the Happy Meals, the big purple guy, Grimace. That's what they kind of remind me of. So, but what you see also in the middle of the playfield is a not clear, but a see-through lower area, a la Creature from the Black Lagoon, a la Haunted House, Black Hole, AC/DC, that type of thing. It has a clear piece there, Street Fighter type of thing. And underneath that is just sort of this like scientific-y looking black thing, and you don't see much. And there's lights under there that light up and do things. So the whole idea of this game, and this is a game with, like I said, two big purple plastic ramps, 4 pop bumpers, kind of top central. It has a vary target, kind of up to the middle. 3 drop targets. It's kind of like one of the main things you aim at. Above the slingshots, it actually has 2 side kicker targets, like targets that you hit and it kicks the ball out, which I think is a feature that should be used again. I think it's a really cool feature because you have, obviously we have slingshots, but kicker targets are awesome. Just a target sort of on like a slingshot type push-out thing. So when it hits a target, the ball gets rocketed off the target. I think it's awesome. So I really like that. Here's the whole idea of the game. You're trying to build the creature. It's actually a robot, I believe. It's a silver robot that's underneath this black scientific-y structure that's down in that playfield. That lower thing is not really a playfield. That's why I don't really know what to call it, because it's more of just a showcase for this toy. So you have these lights in the back of the playfield that light up letters, and you're trying to spot letters in the words arms, brains, body, and legs. And so the orbits spell letters for certain things, the ramps spell letters for certain things, the very target, I believe, and then maybe the drop targets. Don't quote me on all of that. But basically, you're hitting shots that are lit up. Color-coded, by the way, which I always liked about this game, that they color-coded so like all the letters in body are one color, and the shots that you have to make are lit up with inserts in that color. So it's actually a pretty cool game as far as knowing what you need to do. And so you have to light all of that. Once you do, then this thing called like the generator, the life regenerator or whatever it is, there's a light that lights up in front of the lane to shoot the very target. And then you have to shoot a ball to the very back and push the very target all the way to the back. And then you get the creepy music that's, I think it's from Bach, maybe, but it's the theme from the Pinball Machine Haunted House. And hopefully, if this podcaster's worth his weight in freaking quarters, he'll be able to play that music at this point in this show. Perfect. And that music plays, some really cool sound effects go off, and then down there, the little black scientific-y, plasticky thing reveals away. It actually spins underneath it, and there's the monster. There's the robot that you built. You generated it. And then it all starts over, and you keep playing, because it's the 1980s, and we didn't have a bunch of modes after that, right? There's no DMD display. So, it is what it is. It's cool. It's neat. I've only played it a couple times. I played it in Texas, and actually that's the only time I've played it. I've seen it before for sale at somebody's like house in really bad shape with a cracked purple ramp, which is very hard to find and replace. And then I played it in Texas at the Texas Pinball Festival. They made 3,500 of them, so that they're out there for sure. I think that some of these John Trudeau Gottlieb games are starting to sort of gain some popularity because there's a certain quirkiness to them. I love the music and the sound effects in this game. There's like the crackling, like hum, like picture, Dr. Frankenstein's castle when he's building the monster, because this is sort of a takeoff on that in some ways. Picture all the super high charged electricity in the volts, like, buzzing around the room and zip, zip, zip. I love that. This game has a really cool sound package especially for this era. I like it a lot. You do this thing up with LEDs, and if you go to YouTube, I think our friends over at TNT Amusements, and I say our friends loosely because I don't know those folks and I think they're insane, but those guys have a pretty good video out right now of a shopped out and touched up Genesis that they did recently that I used for some of my research on the game that really shows off the game well, and it's kind of exciting, makes you want to play the game. I think this game only has a 2-ball multi-ball, so that's all you get there. Currently, this game is ranked number 247th on the Pinside Top 100, 200, 300. The back glass, the translite, that is. This might be one of the worst examples of a pinball translite ever. Ever. And I apologize to Don Marshall, Ken Hale, Larry Day, the folks credited with the art. I don't know who did what, but let me tell you, it's something. It's almost so bad that it's good, if that makes sense. Like, it's so bad that it's like, I love it. So on the back, the translate, you've got the Genesis logo, very 1980s Genesis logo. And then you've got the 3 characters. And these are this is a photo of real people. These are people in costume, not drawings, not art. It's people. And you've got this crazy tall, mad scientist with like a lab coat and a button-up shirt and a tie, a big, crazy, evil, silly smile on his face, and then this white hair popping out all over. And he's leaned in to this, like, 1980s big-haired woman with a small head, a bunch of makeup on her eyes, a leather outfit with like a big deep V cut all the way down to like her belly button, crazy, scary, long red nails, who's like sitting on a stool or a bench or something clearly, or just levitating in air. And then to top it all off, next to these two nut jobs, you have this little person. Is that the correct term we're supposed to use? Little person who is got one arm in the air, like pointing, like he's about to yell at me. He's like making a face that he's about to say something. He's wearing what I could best describe as little person bondage gear, wearing like this leather shirt that's completely busted open. His cleavage is bigger than the woman's. And he looks insane. He looks crazy. And he's scary. And these three make for one of the most insane pieces of pinball art ever. What on earth were they thinking? Why was this... how did this ever get released? I don't get it. Maybe it was big in Germany. I don't know. The flyer for this game is absolutely hilarious. So you have the flyer that they were distributing to sell the game, to operators and whatnot. And the front of the flyer is basically just the game. It's I can't get it to load. I'm trying to get it to actually pop up. Oh, so it's a cool top-down picture of the game with the robot turned over, opened up, illuminated, so you can see that, and the pop bumpers are all lit up, and the purple ramps are there. And then the crazy woman who has actually more cleavage in this second picture of her, is sitting, miniature version of the woman, because she's really small, is sitting on the side rail of the game, presenting it to you. Like, here is the Genesis. Like, presenting you the robot, I guess. And she's got her legs crossed, and she's wearing fishnets and a skirt and heels. So that's the front. Doesn't really say much, just like, here. And then the back... I believe it's in German on the one I have. No, I'm wrong. It's not. It says Genesis, noun. It gives a little dictionary version of what Genesis means. And its definition is, another great Gottlieb creation by Premiere. Now, I looked up Genesis on dictionary.com. And that is not indeed what the word Genesis means. If you're curious, the word Genesis actually is still a noun, but it is not defined as another great Gottlieb creation by Premiere. It is actually an origin creation or beginning, for those of you listening and playing along at home. So on the back of the flyer, you also have a photo of the playfield zoomed in to one of the two purple ramps. And on this picture, with the purple ramp, you have the crazy woman from the back glass sliding down the ramp. She's even smaller this time. She's really tiny now. Sliding down the ramp like it's a water slide with both arms in the air. Like, yeah, I'm going down the slide. I don't know. It was the 80s. What can I say? So, yeah. Like I said, number 247 on the Pinside Top 100. 3,500 of them made. I think they're pretty rare to find in great shape. They are out there. So I will officially say to Genesis, to Gottlieb's Genesis, welcome to the D-List.
Check the email.
Alright, so I am, as seems to be the trend lately, really behind on answering emails, but I did pick some out to read here on episode 81 of Coast to Coast Pinball. This is from Sean. Sean wrote me a very nice email, and at the bottom he says, now for a question. What's your opinion on theme versus rules / gameplay? Personally, especially after what he learned with X-Men, we had talked about a game he was looking to buy. I need to love the theme before I'll have any hope of enjoying the game. And at that, I can look past mediocre rules or gameplay if the theme is super sick. And as I said before, love the show. Hit me up with details on t-shirts. Thanks again. So, Sean, I think I fall maybe a little bit the other way. When I first was buying games, you go through that phase where, oh my gosh, I can own a pinball machine. And it sort of dawns on you for the first time. And some people have had that their whole life, and they've always had pinball around. took me a lot of years into my 20s to be like, oh my gosh, I can own one of these games. And I just wanted something that worked. I wanted something that worked and wasn't going to cost me a fortune. Because I went through the idea, and I think Sean alludes to this in his email, that a lot of people go out there and only want to spend $1,000 to $2,000. I went out there trying to spend less than $1,000. I really did. I thought, you know what? Any pinball machine at home is going to make me happy. So I spent $700 on a Street Fighter 2. And it made me happy for a little while. And I could have cared less about the theme. I wanted a game that had some fun shots and played good and whatever. Moving into better games and other games, I realized that I need more rules. I need deeper play. I need a variety of shots. One of the things that kind of bothered me about Street Fighter was there was no orbits, and there was just like really no flow at all. It was sort of shoot to a target, stop, shoot to a target, stop, and maybe ball returns or whatever via habit trail. But I needed something just that had either more flow or more rules. So it depends what I'm looking for. So a game like Twilight Zone, there's no real flow to that game. I mean, there's a little, but not really any flow. It's really you're trying to accomplish certain tasks to work through a set of rules and modes, and there's different ways you can play that game. And I love that because sometimes I approach Twilight Zone and I'll just sort of play just for fun, just real loose. And depending on what I got going on is how I'll play the game. If I quickly hit a piano shot, hit a couple slot machine shots, and I have like 4 or 5 door panels lit very quick on Twilight Zone, now I start focusing on trying to get to Lost in the Zone. That becomes my main focus. How do I get there? If instead I have lit the gumball machine, got multi-ball lit, maybe hit it once, and I'm working towards it, then I start going into, I'm going to try and throw up a really high score and try and just keep multi-balls, resetting multi-balls and get extra balls anywhere I can. So I love that about Twilight Zone. It's one of the reasons I think it's so deep, because sometimes I'll say to myself, I'm going to play the modes. That's the other thing about Twilight Zone. You can just start a mode and try and max out each mode, and that's a challenge. Some of those modes are really tough, and you're just begging for straight down the middle drains. The theme on that is the topper. That's why the game's so great for me, because it's sort of the cherry on top. I love that theme. I love the sort of creepiness, the Twilight Zone, the music, the Rod Serling thing. I love it. That is just, it's in my wheelhouse. I look at a game like, let's take Mustang. It's the one that's out right now. I don't like that theme at all. And it's not even that I hate it, because there are themes that I hate, that I just literally, I don't want that. Like, I don't want Shrek. I don't like Shrek. I don't want it. I would not buy that game. Mustang's more of I'm just like, I don't care. And that's one where the gameplay could potentially make it a much higher up ranked game for me. Possibly. Would I buy that game if it had amazing rules, amazing gameplay? Maybe I would. I think the third ingredient for me is sort of the art package, sort of separate from the theme. Star Trek's not a theme that I really care about all that much. Do I like the Star Trek movies? Yeah, I do. They're good movies. Do I, am I a Trekkie? Do I love the theme in sci-fi? No, not particularly. But I like the rules, and I like the way it plays, so I could look past not really being into the theme, I guess. I think Sean had an X-Men and just didn't connect with the theme and really had to bail on it. I don't connect with that theme either, but there's one where I do like that layout and those rules and that art. I kind of like all that, so I would actually be very happy owning an X-Men. I'm also not looking a lot of the times at games as, this is my one game, or this is going to be the one game I have for a long time. I'm very much always sort of in flux. Twilight Zone stays, and really everything else could leave at any time. So that's also going to play into it in what matters to me. Is it theme versus, rules and gameplay? I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan at all, but I would buy that game in a heartbeat because of the deep rule set and all the things you have to do and go on, because that would entertain me for a long time. But I'd still probably be picturing, trading that out and selling it down the road. So I guess everyone's different. There's not a ton of themes where I'm just head over heels in love with. I like some of the quirky stuff. Like I said earlier in this show, Monster Bash is a theme that I just love. Love it, love it, love it. Doctor Who. There's a show I do love. I love the old show Doctor Who, and I do like that theme a lot. That's a game I would own, sort of maybe even based on theme, because as much as I love that game, and that game's really in vogue right now, and people love Doctor Who, I don't know that that's like the greatest laid out game or the greatest rule set or anything like that. It's deep enough, but it's certainly not. It's not the Addams Family or Twilight Zone or something like that. So there's one. So I guess I'm kind of both ways. But good question. I think that's like an ongoing conversation type question that will get talked about for a long, long time. Dude, Sean, you're the only email I got to, because I got to end this thing. My throat's killing me. It's super late. I got to work tomorrow. Man, episode 81 is in the books. Let's do some housekeeping here. I got t-shirts. Somebody bought a t-shirt just today, actually, and I don't even know that I've talked to them about t-shirts. Here's what I have for sure. I have all sizes, medium, large, extra large, double XL in the light gray shirt with the dark writing. I have a couple sizes in the dark gray shirt with black writing. Not much. I think mostly extra larges. So write me first before you send me money for that one. I have more shirts coming. I have a new design in the works. So just, and I'll probably still be printing the standard Coast to Coast pinball shirts, because that's kind of like the shirt for the show. But I will have a new design coming. I have new stickers. I did the original stickers, which was just a black square sticker with the Coast to Coast logo in the two colors. I have a new sticker that's actually waiting for me back in California. Teresa sent me a picture of them. They're there. I think you'll like them. I think people will want this sticker. At least I hope so. So that's gonna be a teaser for next time. We'll show that off when I get back to San Diego. Hope to play some pinball tomorrow night. No promises, but I'm gonna try, and we'll get another show out in the next couple days. Yeah, thanks for listening. Email me if you want. If you want to chat, any questions, shoot me an email, coasttocoastpinball@gmail.com. I'll try and reply as soon as I can. I got a long airplane flight this week, so I'm trying to get to some emails in. Check out our website, www.coasttocoastpinball. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check out the YouTube videos. And until next time, play some pinball. See ya.